welcome all. Shavua Tov, Freilich and Hanukkah. And we're happy to welcome Label once again to help us start our process of Havdallah and entering the new week. Label,
All righty.
it's yours.
Okay, thank you much. Rock of ages, let our song praise thy saving power. Thou amidst the raging ground wast our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but thine arm availed us, and thy word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and thy word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Sivi von sop Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Sivi von sop Akshita Bulaga, Nitkadolaya, Sham, Nitkadolaya, Sham, Akshita Bulaga. Sivi von sop Hanukkah, Hanukkah, Sivi von sop Akshita Bulaga, Nitkadolaya, Sham, Nitkadolaya, Sham, Akshita Bulaga.
Thank you, Label, and to your accompanist as well. I got it.
We know the team.
Okay.
Nice to be acknowledged, Rabbi.
All right, my pleasure, Masha. Thank you. Thank you for all your back scenes and front scenes work to help the program run smoothly. And always a pleasure to have both of you here. I'm going to begin.
Didn't understand the first one you said that.
Hine el yishuti aftach v'lo echad ki ozi v'zimrat ya Adonai v'hi li Yeshua u'shaftem mayim b'sasam yimanei Yeshua l'Adonai ha-Yeshua amcha b'chatecha sela Adonai tzvod imanu mizkav lanu he'ekov sela Adonai tzvod asher yadam b'tech bach Adonai Hoshia HaMelech Yaneinu V'Yom Koreinu
ליהודים עשה עירה ושמחה וששון ויקה כן תגנוננו.
LaYehudim HaTorah V'Simcha V'Sason V'Yika Kain Tiyeh Lanu Kos Yeshuot Esa Uv'Shem Adonai Ekra Savrei Manan Rabbanan Rabbotai Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Borei Pri HaGofen.
Amen.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Borei Minei B'Samim.
Amen.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Borei Me'orei Ha'esh.
Amen.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Hamavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol Ben Or L'Choshech Ben Yisrael La'amim Ben Yom Hashvi L'Shesh Yimei HaMaseh. Baruch Atah Adonai Hamavdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol.
Amen.
Amen. I've got some.
Okay, nice to see everybody. I just want to put my headset on for a moment. So our story tonight, the halachic story, once again takes place in Israel. And I assure you that the Sefer, the book that I'm taking it from, was published before COVID. So don't take the setting as any license to be doing the same thing. But the story is about a husband and wife who were at a wedding, a very big wedding, which shouldn't be taking place at this time. Big weddings, small weddings with precautions, great. They're at this wedding. They've been there for a few hours, and they must get home now. And as they walk outside of the wedding hall, and they look in front of them, there is a box, a decorative box, not so large, but it was a jewelry box. And they open it up, and inside that box is a sparkling gold necklace with several diamonds in it, nice sized diamonds. And I can't believe their eyes. And the fellow Shlomo is extremely happy. You may or may not be surprised why he was happy. He was happy that now he has the opportunity to do the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda, of returning a lost article. He knows it's not his. It's in front of the wedding hall. It must belong to somebody. He thinks most likely inside the wedding hall. So even though he and his wife are in a rush to get home, he goes inside the wedding hall. He puts the box into his jacket pocket so people won't see what it is, because according to halacha, the owner has to identify the object. So that's how we can establish credibility that it really belongs to them. And if there would be an object that can't be identified, then there wouldn't be an obligation to return it. You can identify it by its own physical properties, by the location, if it was a unique location, etc. But certainly this piece of jewelry between the box and the item itself could be identified, but he doesn't show it. But he and his wife go back into the wedding hall, and the fellow Shlomo goes among the men, and his wife goes among the women, and they ask people. They start asking people if anybody, lost some jewelry. You could say jewelry. They're not telling you what kind of jewelry it is, and not giving any description at all. And they spend like a solid 20 minutes inside going through the guests in that wedding hall, and nobody's claiming that they lost any kind of jewelry. So Shlomo, the tzaddik, there are other wedding halls on this block, and he goes into other wedding halls trying to find the owner of what he found. But he can't find anybody. And an hour goes by. They're already an hour behind schedule. He and his wife can't stay there anymore. And he has a good friend that he sees there. He calls his friend Gidon over, and he tells him very quickly, what he's gone through. He says he thinks that maybe the person, lost him on his way out of one of these wedding halls, or while he was walking, maybe to his car or to meet somebody else, and that maybe that he's going to come back, but he can't stay anymore. So he's asking Gidon if Gidon would be the showman, take over watching this article, and if the person can identify it properly, to please return it to its owners. That's what he wants. No sooner does he hand the box over to Gidon that a cab pulls up, the door opens, a gentleman comes rushing out and says, by any chance, have any of you guys here, have you seen a jewelry box? And the guy says, yeah, we have. Can you identify it? And he identifies it perfectly, all the details on the box, what's inside of it. And Gidon's happy. He gives over the box of jewelry. And then the fellow takes his hand, puts it into his pocket, and he takes out a big bunch of bills, and he gives these bills to Gidon. And he says, thank you, and please take this. And Gidon says, wait a second, we can't take any money for a mitzvah. And specifically, the Shulchan Aruch says that for the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda, we don't take any money. The only exception really is that if a person had to, take off from work and wasn't getting paid, then there's a formula to figure out how much you should pay the person if he asks for pay. That he's entitled to. But if there's no loss of income involved and there are no expenses in taking care of the found item, so you're not supposed to take money. You take the mitzvah, the reward of the mitzvah, not the money. So Gideon explains this to the man. And the man says, you know what? I know the halacha too. But I'm not giving you a reward. I'm not giving you because you're returning it. I'm giving to you because you're a good person. And I like giving gifts to good people. It makes me feel good when I can give a gift to good people. And so he races back into the cab. He doesn't even wait for a response because he had to catch his plane. He already had to turn around in the middle of the trip when he realized he lost the box. So he didn't have any more time for conversation. He jumps back in the cab. He had told him that, that he had bought the jewelry for his wife. I don't know if I'm getting myself into trouble now here, for his wife as a gift. And, and it was quite expensive. It was quite expensive. But he's on his way back to the airport. So Shlomo, who we know Shlomo was a tzaddik, he spent an hour trying to find the owner. Shlomo says, I think maybe that gift really was meant for me. He said he wanted to give a gift, to the person, to good people and everything. I spent an hour looking for the owner of that necklace. We were supposed to go home, and I went to multiple wedding halls for all this, and all you did was hold that box for 10 seconds, and you think you're entitled. It actually was, the bills were euros. It was 1,200 euros. What's that about today? Close to $2,400, a little bit less, a little bit more. Anybody know? Go higher, lower? Higher, Ron, lower, a little bit lower. Okay. All right, whatever. It's a nice sum of money. And, so Gideon's response to his friend, he says, but this was like Siyata Shemaya. This was from the help of heaven that I got this gift. This was like meant for me. And Shlomo says, I'm not so convinced about that. But Gideon says right away, they're B'nai Torah. They want to do the mitzvah right. So they say, okay, let's go to, get it sucked in. So they go to Rabbi Silverstein. So Rabbi Silverstein, here's the story. And he actually, he actually quotes a pasuk. It wasn't just because of this pasuk, but there's a pasuk in Shir HaShirim, and there's some other sources as well. But in Shir HaShirim, if you want to check it out, it's in chapter 8 of Shir HaShirim, pasuk 12, Yud Bet. Ha'elef lecha Shlomo. So this is King Solomon, Shlomo HaMelech, who's writing, and he writes here, 1,000 to you, Shlomo, umatayim notrim et piryo, and 200 for those who took care of the garden of the fruits. And Rav Silberstein, he actually very specifically said, that this Siyata Shemaya, the help of heaven, that Gideon thought was his entitlement to this gift, he says that doesn't apply here. If you find something that's hefker, that's ownerless, you would find something that, it could be something even in nature. You could find gold in nature, and it really is like ownerless. It never had an owner. You're looking in a riverbed and you find the nuggets of gold. So that's a great gift from God. Even if you were to find an aveda, a lost object, which had no signs on it. So that could be a gift from God too. But Rabbi Silverstein said, this is not what this was. This was not something that was hefker. This was something that could be identified, had an owner, and the owner most likely did not give up ownership on it because he knew it was in a religious neighborhood that he'd lost it. He knew it was in a box. He knew it could be identified. He had all the knowledge of what it looked like. So he didn't give up his ownership. So it's not hefker. So for someone to say that this was a gift of God, that doesn't work. That doesn't override all the other parameters that are in operation here. So he said, essentially, the person who really worked hard for this was Shlomo, the original finder. He and his wife, worked to try to find the owner. And Gideon had a small role in it. So so Rabbi Silverstein said they should work out between them, what a small amount Gideon should get. But this pasuk from Shir HaShirim, it seemed to make a fair division of out of the 1,200 euros, give 1,000 euros should be kept by Shlomo and his wife, and 200 can go to Gideon for his 10 seconds of work, which seemed to be a generous offer. So that was the decision. And I don't know if any of you after the story are planning to go out and look for some wedding halls and check out the front or the parking lot or whatever. But maybe all have our possessions protected, and may Hashem grant us all that we need. A Shavua Tov and a Chanukah Sameach. You're welcome to unmute yourselves.
Oh, looked it up. $196.
Gitzavak and Shavua
$1.
Tov to everyone.
Good Bach, Shavua Tov.
Think
Good
Mark
Kodesh
said
Tov.
990.
And a good Hanukkah.
From,
I hope everyone's well.
Thank you.
Thank you, and a good Hanukkah.
Okay. Oh, wow, it went down. There.
Good
Okay. All right, still a nice amount of money.
That's okay. We don't have any
Yeah, right.
euros.
Miss you all.
Shavua Tov and Chanukah Sameach. Thank you again, Label, with the help of Masha.
Fine, good to see you in show.
Yeah, Ron, Shavua Tov, and
Shavua
Rita and
Tov.
Mark,
Shavua Tov, everybody.
Rebecca, Judy.
I hope to
Shavua
see
Tov,
you.
Rabbi
Oh, we
Yezger.
have a new member
I
online.
hope so.
Actually, I may have more than one new member online. The most recent member, one of the most recent members is Lenny and his wife. Lenny, can you remind me?
Sherry.
Sherry.
Her name is Sherry.
Okay. And so welcome to the Torah Or community. And Lynn Friedman is on. She's a relatively new member.
Right.
Shavua Tov. Ileana, longtime member.
Yeah.
Wendy Jacobs, and who was the other one?
Shavua Tov, everybody.
And we already got Ron Figular and the other Ron. Shavua Tov. Chanukah Sameach.
Shavua Tov. Happy
Be well.
Hanukkah.
Speak to you soon. Call me.
We had a couple of days here that the temperature in Boca was almost the same as in New York.
Yeah, right. We wait a few weeks.
It's going to get cold this week here. It'll get cold.
It's getting warmer here, thank God.
Yeah.
We actually had an outdoor Shabbos minyan.
Oh, nice.
A full minyan, outdoor Shabbos minyan.
8 o'clock in the, Rabbi, why did it start at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Well, it actually didn't start. Actually, the time was changed to 9:10. We'll send out more information.
Okay.
We'll be back.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a good Motzei Shabbos.
Yeah.
Good week.
Shavua Tov, everyone.
Happy Hanukkah.
Shavua Tov.
Hanukkah Sameach.
Hanukkah. Bye, everybody. Shavua Tov.
Bye.